Hello and welcome to another video. Today you find me on my way to B&Q in Halifax. My shower has finally given up the ghost. The mixer valve on it has gradually been dying pretty much since I moved into this place. There was always maybe 1 or 2 degrees on the dial where the temperature would be perfect, and beyond that it was either freezing cold or boiling hot. And anyway, it's now at the point where it's just hot throughout the entire range, which is not brilliant. So I ordered a new shower unit off of Amazon, which is really good, but turns out some of the fittings were wrong, so I need to go buy some replacement bits and bobs, and a bigger spanner. As it turns out, my monkey wrench isn't quite large enough for the job at hand, so off to B&Q. I'm recording this over the bank holiday weekend. As you can see, it's proper bank holiday weather, grey skies, intermittent showers, so I wasn't sure how busy the roads were going to be, but it's actually not that bad. I think maybe if the weather had been beautiful, the roads might have been a bit busier, with more people going out for day trips to Hebden Bridge and maybe into Halifax to go to the Peace Hall and stuff, but as it's kind of grey and overcast and a bit showery, the roads are actually pretty quiet for the most part. And for once, there's not tons and tons of roadworks on the A646, which has to be something of a first. It's the number of times that I'll be driving through Ludfoot, and it will just be, down to one lane, and there'll be freeway control, and you'd be held up there for 5-10 minutes. It's absolutely absurd. But for once, it's clear. There are a few roadworks kind of on the road, I think, going up through Sorby Bridge, or going past Sorby Bridge, sort of that way, but most of the usual sort of roadworks hotspots are thankfully free for a change. So in my last video, I said I was going to go do my Mod 1 training and have my first stab at my Mod 1. So some kind of good news, bad news kind of there. The training went pretty well. DC Motorcycles in, where are they? In Huddersfield. Turned out they had a really nice A2 class maxi scooter, which I was able to do the training on. A Kimco DTX 320. I think it had 80 miles on the clock when I got on it. Absolutely lovely bike. Obviously a massive step up from a 125. In fact, it has ruined me now. it's amazing how much slower Luna feels after just going around a car park 30 miles an hour on a 320cc. It's the amount of additional power and the additional weight giving you that kind of planted feeling, so you feel like you can lean into corners and stuff that much more. It's really crazy. I hadn't expected the difference to be quite as pronounced as it was. So, amazing bike. Really enjoyed riding it. On the training day, the one thing that I struggled with a little bit was the sort of swerve, the hazard avoidance, kind of the last bit. I got there in the end, but I don't know. I think because my body was getting quite stiff and tired, because by that point of day, right, you've been riding in the saddle pretty much constantly for 5-6 hours. So obviously 30-40 minute ride into Huddersfield, and then to go to the AQ Stadium, which is where they sort of use as a Mod 1 kind of test course, because it's an absolutely gargantuan car park there, and they can lay out a full course for you. So that, and then obviously the morning was all slow, doing all the slow speed stuff, the slalom, figure of 8, the manual handling, what have you, and the afternoon then was the high speed, and by the end of it my shoulders were cramping up, and I think that really wasn't helping. But yeah, everything else went really well. What didn't go quite so well, unfortunately, was the actual Mod 1. So did it at the training centre in Wakefield. Bit of a pain in the arse to get to. It's right on the edge of Wakefield, so it's not really easy to get to, or not really possible to get to on public transport. especially from where I am. I had to sort of get the train over to Wakefield Kirkgate and then get like a taxi from there, which is a bit of a pain. Obviously, it gets expensive taking like loads of trains and taxi journeys and stuff. The guy from DC who was with me, who brought the Kimco bike over for me to use, was telling me all the stories about all these guys, because I guess, you know, they're all men of a certain age, right? They're all like sort of 50 plus, they've been motorcycling forever, and they all, I guess all of the trainers know all of the instructors and what have you. He wasn't exactly putting my mind at ease. He said, oh, he'll be very fair with you, Rory, he'll be very fair with you, this guy, but he's not like the friendliest person. He really wasn't. He was like quite softly spoken, like almost excessive calmness, but at the same time like completely unpersonable. Like I just check with him, like for example, like, you know, when I do the manual handling, do you have a preference of whether I put it on like the side stand or the centre stand? Because when I was doing the training, the guy was like, oh, he might want you to have it on the side stand. So I just want to check with that. And he was like really quite snappy with me. And I was like, why would I care, sort of thing. It's like, well, I'm just asking, mate. So that wasn't brilliant for my nerves, because obviously under exam sort of conditions, you're obviously going to be a bit nervous. But everything kind of went okay. I was a little bit dodgy on the slalom. Because you're supposed to slalom through the blue cones at the end, although the end of the exercise is technically the last yellow cone, right? And I missed one of the blue cones, so I ended up getting a minor for that, but that wasn't a sort of failure. But what I did fuck up was, unfortunately, the emergency stop. So I'd done all my training on like a right hand version of the course, and they told us, don't worry, it'll be a right hand course at Wakefield. And guess what? It wasn't. It was a left hand one. And I don't know what it is, but I just feel a bit less confident like going at speed like on a left hander. So I was kind of like, my eyes kept flicking down to like the speedo, because you've got to hit that sort of magic 32 miles an hour, 50 kilometers an hour for the speed trap. And I just missed the instructor's, the examiner's hand go up, and I was just too slow to react, and he just failed me and ended it right then and there, which sucked. So I didn't even get a chance to do the hazard avoidance. Again, just like really unfriendly. Like, it came to the end of it. Obviously, they won't tell you anything when you go into the little office. They sit you down and say, right, you failed. You know, you're too slow to react on this. And then I was like, okay, yeah, well, was everything else okay? And it's like, well, we'll send you an email. I'm like, why can't you just tell me now? Why does this have to be so sort of, I don't know, such a formal kind of unfriendly process? But anyway, I got the email like a day or so later, and I had like 3 minors, apparently 2 for missed observations. So I don't know what they were. I definitely missed one observation, because I'd circled back at one point just to confirm something with him, and I think I forgot to do an observation when I set off from that. But apart from that, I'm pretty sure I was good on all my lifesavers and stuff, so I don't know where the other one came from. And as I say, I got a minor for not going through the blue cones on the slalom, which, you know, fine, whatever. But yeah, it's a bit of a ball ache, because originally I thought maybe the retest was going to be like £100, £150 or something. It turns out it's actually more like £200. So I'm not best pleased about that. I have it booked in again for sort of end of May, but it gets very expensive. And you're paying an awful lot of money to like rent a bike. Given the actual test is like £25, £30, whatever it is, you're paying an awful lot of money to rent a bike and have it sort of sent over to a test centre. So fingers crossed I pass next time, because this is all getting very expensive. And I've had to renew my CBT now as well, so I'll be renewing that at the end of May, so that's another £200. And then obviously I'm looking at like at least £500 for the training and the Mod 2. But I guess at least with the CBT renewed, I can spread it out. I don't have to like worry about trying to get everything done before the old CBT expires at the start of June, so that's a bit of pressure off my shoulders, so that'll be good. But yeah, motorcycling's expensive. It really is. So yeah. So the ride into Huddersfield to go do the training and to go do more training now and the CBT at the end of the month was actually quite cool. So pretty much the only dual carriageway experience I have is this little stretch of dual carriageway that's coming up now in the middle of Halifax, which is like 40 mile an hour. I've otherwise generally avoided them because Luna will not hit 70 miles an hour. It will maybe hit 60 miles an hour if you've got like a stiff breeze behind you and you're not going uphill. So it's not a place I really want to put myself. But to get to Huddersfield, you've not got much choice but to go on the dual carriageway. But thankfully, I think it's called the Calderdale Way. It's 50 miles an hour the whole way, and you enter and exit it through traffic light controlled roundabouts and junctions, so you don't have to like worry about merging its speed or anything. So that was actually quite a good experience, and it was quite an enjoyable ride because Luna will hit and stay at 50 quite comfortably. It's just going beyond that it starts to have a few issues with. Like, it will go over 50, but I don't think I've ever actually had it above maybe about 56 at most, either because I've run out of fast road or you're going uphill or the wind direction is in your face or something, and then there's just not enough poke in the engine to just go any faster than that. I really don't like this roundabout. I always panic a little bit here. Now, I could have stayed in the lane that I was in, but I was like, I need to take the first left. I should probably be in the left-hand lane. And ultimately, it wouldn't have made any difference, right? Because those first two lanes are both going left. But anyway, so I overlook my slightly dodgy crossing of the hashed area there. So, we've arrived at B&Q, and I guess I'll wrap up the video there. Thanks once again for tuning in. Actually, you didn't really tune in, you just kind of clicked and watched. Maybe the algorithm suggested this video. I don't know. I'm getting old, forgive me. So yeah, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, leave a comment. Did you pass your Mod 1 first time? If not, how many goes did it take? How much did you pay for your Mod 1 even? I would be curious to know answers to all of these things. And until next time, take care.